Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the D-Pad Discourse. This edition will be for the week that started on June 1st, 2014, aka the week before E3 2014. Alright, and in this edition of D-Pad Discourse, I'll be taking a look at the big three companies, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, and predicting how well the three of them will do during this year's E3. Alright, so let's get started. Let's get started with Microsoft. The Xbox One is behind the PS4 in worldwide sales, and that was pretty much inevitable because the PlayStation brand is more popular than the Xbox brand is worldwide. But the big thing is that the Xbox One isn't doing as well as the PS4 in America, and Microsoft definitely wants to change that because the Xbox 360 was definitely, it did better than the PS3 did in America last gen, so they definitely want that top spot again in America, and I feel that Microsoft knows that they really have to bring it for this E3, this year's E3. So I think that this E3 conference for Microsoft will be the most important one, and will be the most important one for this first half of this gen, and will set the tone for the Xbox One for the first half of this gaming gen. So Microsoft definitely knows that they have to bring it in terms of game announcements. We could expect, their popular franchises be there: Forza, Halo, Gears. In terms of Gears, you'll probably get like a small glimpse of the Gears of War game that Black Tusk is making, because they just started working on the game. So we more likely won't see any gameplay, but I'm expecting like the official, title of the game to be announced during Microsoft's E3 conference. Just a small trailer with the logo of the game, saying the title, and then saying, when it will come out, the target release date probably sometime in 2016. And that will be pretty much it, probably, because the game has just started being made by Black Tusk. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure we'll see something about Gears, and like I said before, we'll see something about Halo and Forza Horizon 2, which just got announced. And we'll see Fable Legends more than likely. I'm pretty sure we'll see that there at Microsoft's E3 conference. And we'll see some new IPs. That's been stated already that we will see some new IPs or some revived IPs. The thing is though, I don't know if they'll be retail games or digital download games, or a mix of both. We'll see. Something's telling me that there'll be more digital download games in terms of new IPs, since I think that's a safer route to take in terms of new IPs, at least depending on what genre they are. If they're platformers, then definitely I can see those platformers being digital download only, but we'll see what happens. There's also some rumors going around that Microsoft has a big third-party exclusive coming to the Xbox One, and from the way it sounds like it's going to get a lot of attention when they announce it on stage. There's people out there, predicting what or trying to figure out what it will be, but Microsoft is really keeping, quiet about this announcement, and it should be big during their conference. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that will be definitely a big announcement. And Microsoft's conference is called Game On, so we could expect a lot of games at Microsoft's conference. It's going to be filled with games. They already announced all the new app stuff coming to the Xbox One, so they won't be, talking about that during their E3 conference more likely, since there's been a ton of stuff about the new apps coming to the Xbox One in the Microsoft blogs, and as well as, all the features of those apps too. Pretty sure we won't see that during their E3 conference. I'm positive that their E3 conference will be, only about games, so games after games after games. So it should be really good. I'm pumped to see how Microsoft will do during this year's E3. Alright, now let's talk about Sony. Sony is in the top spot with the PS4 this gen. The PS4 is doing better than any other current gen console in terms of worldwide sales, so this is a really great spot for the PS4 to be in. But the thing is, with the PS4, there's been a lot of recent criticism about the PS4 not having that many exclusive games for this year, 2014. And I think that this E3 conference won't change that much, at least in terms of the big AAA games. Sony usually reveals their big AAA games years before they actually release. So while I expect there to be some new AAA games being revealed during this E3, or at least shown new gameplay footage during this E3, I would say do not expect any big AAA games to be announced for the PS4 at E3 that will come out this year. That's not Sony's style. Sony usually reveals their big AAA games 1 or 2 years or even more before they actually release. So don't expect any more big AAA 2014 exclusives for the PS4 to be announced during this E3 for Sony. The PS4 will still do fine this year, even without that many exclusives. They still have a ton of multi-plats, and that will definitely help the PS4 do well. But it's still disappointing that it's looking like, in terms of the big new exclusive game for the PS4 this year, that it will just be Drive Club, at least for the second half of 2014, and nothing else. I mean, you got The Last of Us, but that's a remake of a PS3 game, and there will possibly be more remakes of PS3 games. There's rumors going around that God of War Ascension will be remade for the PS4, and Gran Turismo 6 will be remade for the PS4. So you might see that too during Sony's E3 conference. But like I said before, don't expect any new big AAA exclusive for this year, 2014, to be announced at Sony's E3 conference. There'll probably be some new digital download only games for this year for the PS4, but in terms of big AAA retail games, don't expect it. I'm pretty sure they'll be showing off the order that recently got delayed to 2015. They'll probably show off that. And it seems like, in terms of their biggest game for 2014, it seems like it will be a multi-plat. It seems like it will be Destiny. There's been recent pictures online, or you could say advertisements online, about Destiny being at Sony's press conference. And that isn't that surprising. I'm pretty sure most people expected Destiny to have a portion of Sony's E3 conference, in terms of time at the conference, but it seems like this will take more time than what people expected. It seems like Sony will, be talking about Destiny as if it was one of their own games, like one of their exclusives for the PS4. So I could see Destiny taking up a decent amount of time during Sony's E3 conference. And on top of that, when you compare Sony to Microsoft, Microsoft, all they have to worry about right now is the Xbox One, and due to that, Microsoft's press conference will be focused mainly on the Xbox One, games, the upcoming games. Whereas, Sony has, the PS4, they have PS Now service, they have the Project Morpheus, and they have the PS Vita, and they have to talk about all those things, since all those things are new for Sony. And so that will split up time in terms of being able to talk about PS4 games in depth. So don't expect there to be as the conference will definitely be gaming focused, but don't expect it to be 100% PS4. In terms of the PS4's gaming content. Expect a lot of info to be coming out during Sony's E3 conference about Project Morpheus. Possibly some virtual reality demos, depending on how much time they'll take, because I'm pretty sure there'll be demos there, and I feel that they shouldn't really demo it that much, because we will be watching from computer screens or tablets, and we won't be able to see that virtual reality the way that the people demoing it on stage will be able to see it. So I think that will be kind of iffy, but we'll see how it goes. PS Now, the streaming service, that will definitely be talked about, especially since it's coming out soon. So expect that. And then PS Vita, they'll probably still be talking about PS Vita, maybe showing off some more games too, you never know. But Sony has more devices to support than Microsoft does when it comes to gaming, so expect Sony's conference to be more broader than Microsoft's when it comes to gaming content for their newest console. Sony will definitely move away from talking about the PS4 for the PS4's exclusives for a while, to talk about their new services and also other gaming devices. Alright, and to end off this edition of the D-Pad Discourse, we'll be talking about Nintendo. The Wii U, is doing pretty bad. It's doing worse than the GameCube did. But then the Wii U recently got a big game, Mario Kart 8, and apparently it's doing really well for the Wii U. We'll see how Mario Kart 8 does in these upcoming months and see how well it helps out the Wii U. But so far it's been doing really, really well, so that's pretty good. And the Wii U also has Smash coming out this year, and that'll definitely be shown at Nintendo's little E3, well, not conference, but their E3 Nintendo Direct. And also, I think that we might see the new Zelda, the glimpse of the Zelda Wii U. I definitely don't think that will be coming out this year for the Wii U, but I definitely think that Zelda will be a 2015 game for the Wii U, late 2015 game for the Wii U. Since, you know, if it isn't, then that will leave a huge gap for the Wii U in 2015 in terms of really big games, you know, and the Wii U isn't getting that many games well, being released on the system already. You know, 2014 so far, I think only had like, I want to say at most 15 retail Wii U games this year so far, which is pretty pitiful. So, you know, if Zelda doesn't come out in 2015, then that will leave a really big gap in terms of huge retail Wii U releases. So, I think that in terms of Nintendo's E3 Nintendo Direct, I think that it might, you know, we might be surprised in terms of what they show, you know, since it seems like everybody is underestimating them, you know, since a lot of people aren't interested in the Wii U. But as I said before, there's Smash coming, as well as Zelda, so you know there still might be a chance for more people to be interested in the Wii U. But I think that, you know, a little bit after Mario Kart's, you know, release, you know, maybe, you know, during a little bit after this upcoming holiday season, I think that'll be it in terms of you know, Wii U, you know, people that will buy Wii U, because I don't see there being that many people that will buy one after that time, you know, since all the big Wii U games just except for Zelda would be already, you know, on the system. But we'll see what happens. You know, like I said before, Nintendo definitely has the most room to surprise people, I think. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, not interested in the Wii U. The Wii U sales have been really, really terrible. So, you know, they definitely have, you know, enough room to surprise people, at least more room than Microsoft and Sony. I think a lot of people expect Microsoft to show off some big games, and hopefully Microsoft's conference doesn't disappoint people. But, you know, in terms of Microsoft, people have high expectations for Microsoft, and people have high expectations for Sony too, Sony's conference. But when it comes to Nintendo, you know, I don't think that many people have high expectations, and I would say that I don't have high expectations either for Nintendo. So they definitely can surprise us, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what Nintendo will do for their E3 Nintendo Direct. Alright, well, that was another edition of D-Pad Discourse. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm pumped for E3. I hope you guys are pumped for E3 too. It's gonna be great. This is an E3 conference during the really early part of the gaming generation, and those E3 conferences during the early part of you know, gaming gen are usually the best E3 conferences. So I'm really, really pumped for this E3 conference. It's gonna be great. I have a feeling it's gonna be really, really good. And in terms of the D-Pad Discourse in the next edition of the D-Pad Discourse, there won't be one for this upcoming week, since there will be a new episode of the D-Pad, which will have a similar format to the D-Pad Discourse. I'll be talking about the E3 conferences for Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, and pretty much reviewing them. So, you know, there won't be any need for a new D-Pad Discourse. So the next edition of D-Pad Discourse will be coming in 2 weeks. So hopefully you guys will check out that. And until then, Brad Davis saying goodbye, everybody.